Hi, I'm Nag, and a little while ago I made what ended up seemingly being a pretty hard-hitting video explaining why AV has been struggling so hard and continuously losing players. So it's only fitting that now, in just one update, the game has bounced back up to its heights it hasn't seen in months and months. I'm back sitting here and singing its praises too, because fellas, there's a lot right done here. Anime Vanguards for months now has been struggling to reach 30k players, coming from their heights of 300 something k, mostly botted but still insane number. Was struggling to reach 30k. I think Attack on Titan hit and instantly fell and was at like almost 10k during the update, basically, which is, you know, their most recent update before this one. And then 6.5, I mean, it peaked pretty decently but then instantly fell as well. I mean, 6.0, 5.5 also wasn't that great received. But right now, as we speak, Anime Vanguard's at 85k. And it's actually climbing. Like, it's been climbing. When I first sat down to write the script for this video, I just have bullet points. It was at, I was gonna say 70k, but now it's at 85k. Why is that? Well, update 7.5, the current update they just released, is, and this is the most subjective point of my video right now, because I'm going to list down the reasons why Anime Vanguard is up again from its lowest of lows. This update is their best update since JJK. In my opinion, the best updates they've ever done in Anime Vanguard were the JJK updates. Maybe it's bias, it probably is, but if you weren't there, you just don't know. Gojo was so hyped, so dominant. He was just so OP. It's, I mean, rightfully so. He was the main character of the update, and it just felt awesome having him. He was kind of like a Vanguard before Vanguard units, and he remained good for a long time until he just got Giga Power Crept, and he got nerfed as well. You know, his passive, immune to status effects, used to be immune to everything, but then they changed his immune status effects, which just means stuns. Which at the time was fine because there were only stuns, but now there's like so much stuff. Toji was a quest character. We haven't had much quest characters since, but every time that we've had a quest character, I've loved it. What was it? Toji was the first one. Then we had Gilgamesh. Aizen was a quest evolution. Not a character, right? So, and now we had the new quest character again with this current update. So I'm saying, like, this update is great. We've had 3 quest characters: Toji, Gilgamesh, and the girl from, what's her name? Dude, I've read Black Clover, right? Black Clover, Fire Woman, I can't say that name. Vermilion, the woman. And then part of the update, but it was like a separate thing, the Sukuna evolution from Itadori to evolution to Sukuna. Brand new game mode at the time, boss rush. I thought was really well done. The character itself was so cool. He had like true elements. Like, JJK to me was the peak of the game. And ever since they've done good updates, I think there's until this update, the second best update was Bleach. And you can have your own opinions about that, but I think so. But right now, I think the position for the second best update in AV history is this one. And I have a list on why I think that. This is why the game's coming back, by the way. It's because the update's so good. Let's start with what I think is the greatest thing they've done. And this goes back to my video, right? My criticism video, which, by the way, a lot of people saying, oh, they apologize because of your video. Definitely, I nudged them, but realistically, my video was just me listing down and echoing what everyone's saying, right? So it's not me, it's me reiterating what everyone's saying, but louder. And this is what I'm doing again, basically. The new game mode was a brilliant idea because, although I'm going to talk about this in a bit, the fact there was another limited Vanguard was very worrisome, but they're actually letting people get this character. I think that one thing that they've done terrible over the, course of this game has been the sheer amount of limited things they've released, even though there's no trading. They always act in updates, I feel like, as if trading is a thing in this game when it isn't. Like, oh man, we can't make them get the Vanguards, in a reasonable amount of time. The value of the Vanguard is gonna go down. What value? There's no trading! Like, what is the purpose of not letting me get Kaguya after 1,000 portals? There's no trading! This is a solo game. There is no player economy, right? So you look at, we have now 1, 2, 3, 4 limited Vanguards. But this time, unlike the previous, a normal, reasonable player that isn't an informal macroer can actually get the Vanguard without having to take time off school, basically. Or get super lucky, right? Or get super lucky, sure. This event right here, if you are someone that started the game today, unless there's a level like requirement to play it, you can just hop in. You don't need Monarch characters. That's the big thing as well. You don't need Monarch characters like the previous updates required. Again, throwback to the video we did, what happened to anime Vanguards. One big issue that they've been had was the difficulty. You need Vanguard. You need a Vanguard trait on your characters. Like, you need it. I'm sorry, you need it. And we've already discussed that, so I'm not gonna keep it down, but you need it. But in this event, you don't. You know why? Because you just get random characters, right? They're all characters from the update, so it's actually fresh to play with them. It's not like characters that are in your box. It's not like you're getting like, a lot of the random character events these games do sometimes are just very jarring to play, because like, oh, you're just gonna give me rare Goku? Okay, I guess I lose. Right, you know what I mean? Like, it's just actually random characters. But no, in this update, it's only the new summer characters. And you actually get reasonably rewarded, maybe even over-rewarded, for playing this game mode. Every 10 waves, you get 3,000 currency, which is the equivalent of doing a portal. And we'll talk about portals in a bit. Let me just back out. So I think dropping this event, even though I know, I'm gonna start sounding like I'm talking trash again, but I guarantee you there were people in the Vanguards team that were like, oh, we're gonna make an AFK event for these peasants. I just know. I'm sorry, but that's the reason why there's 85k players, because you actually made a reasonable grind event and not just annoying portals again. But I'll talk about portals. Portals are actually good. So yeah, if you are a noob, if you are a low-end player, if you are just a regular player that doesn't sweat your balls off in this game, trying to get every single trait reroll there is to maybe get a Monarch on Jinwoo, you can actually play this update, which is fantastic, because the previous spring update, honestly, like, we're being honest, right? If you didn't have Monarch Jinwoo, this update sucked for you. It just did. You can't play the portals reasonably on tier 10. I mean, you can group up with people and get carried, that's one thing. And that's fine, but a lot of people don't like that. Like, if you've had like 4 or 5 Monarchs in your account, but you don't have Monarch Jinwoo, you're like, what's even the point of playing, right? And that's how a lot of people felt for these past few updates, just in general. In any case, this update is different. You can actually get stuff without needing Monarch. Great. This game mode alone was great, but the fact that they even had portals, which when I saw there were portals, I was like, but the portals this time are much better done. One thing I've hated about portals in this game was the random maps. Anime Vanguard devs hate the concept of macroing in their game, even though they have these like 0.5% drop chance right there. Like it's 1 because you double it, but you have a 1% drop chance for the secret portal, and you're telling me that you don't want me to AFK it. Like, you really want me to do 108-minute hard portals to maybe get it. Like, doing 100 doesn't guarantee it, it's just, you know, on average. And 1,000 for the 3,000 paddles to, on average, get Kaguya. Or now Pity. We'll talk about Pity in a bit. But it's just one map on this one. It's just one map. You can AFK if you're high-end. And there's not even a portal secret. They didn't do the overdone thing of portal secrets, which I think is also cringe. The portal secret of 1% is super overdone at this point, especially when there's no pity. You can do 500 portals and not get it. It's just terrible, especially with how hard the portals are. So you have an event that can be AFK'd by any player, and you have portals as well, which are higher end. They are for the high-end players. So if you have good characters and you want to use your good characters, you don't just want to use random characters, you have an event for you as well. Like, giving both options is great. And on top of that, actually, when I first saw that there were portals and the other event, I was like, why is there 2 different events that drop the same currency? But the events tab is a new feature with this update. This events tab might be the greatest thing they've done in a long time. I'm so serious. What is this? Evolution Madness. Oh, I didn't even know this was a thing. Right now, there are missions that you can do that are based on the update itself. So I'm hoping that this is a thing that they do for every single update. If you get every single character evolved, so it incentivizes you to actually go ahead and not just get Ascanor, which is the big prize of the update, but actually get all the characters, evolve all the characters, try them out. You need to roll on them, you need to evolve them, and you can exchange the coins for either more currency to try and get Escanor, or even better, things you actually really want. Trait rerolls and Phoenix Shards. I kept saying Elemental Shards. Elemental Shards are cool as well, but Phoenix Shards. Jesus, I need Phoenix Shards. But it doesn't stop there. Instead of having the banners, the Portal Secret, they have a quest character. Oh, it's been so long. A quest character. Reach wave 20 in summer event 10 times, so you have to play the summer event. Evolve to banner characters, you're gonna do that anyways for the other part. And then complete 25 summer portals. So even if the portals, to me, felt useless to farm, because, well, you get the same amount. You get 3,000 currency per portal. You know, it's 1,500, but you're always gonna double that. So 3,000. It's the same thing as reaching wave 10 on the other game mode, but reaching wave 10 on the other game mode takes 4.5 minutes, give or take. A portal takes about 8 minutes. So like, why put your effort to a portal? Jesus, man. But the missions, do 25, which is a reasonable amount. Do 25, they're long, they're hard. All right, pause. They're long and they're hard, whatever, I don't care. But you only need to do 25 times. And again, it's the same map, so you don't have to reposition yourself or anything. You can just power through them. It's not that bad. And this is one thing, again, for the longest time, they've been trying their absolute hardest to combat people tiny tasking for some reason. I don't get why. If you have drop chances in your game that read out loud 0.75%, I'm sorry, you were asking people to AFK your game. 0.75? This is still a drop chance that they used, by the way. No, this one. It was the... No, this was... What was the most recent 0.75? Oh yeah, Yamamoto. Oh, I guess that wasn't that long ago. This was actually before they've made Legend stages incredibly hard to AFK. Whatever. You're asking people to AFK, but the devs of Anime Vanguards hate AFKing. But this is the first time that they've actually embraced it. They were like, okay, we are gonna make characters have low chance of getting, like Escanor, but we're not gonna stop you from using Tiny Task, which is like very welcoming, very refreshing. Because here's the thing, Informal exists. A lot of people might not know what Informal is. It's a image-based macro you have to purchase on the side on a sketchy Discord. It's not bannable. It's kind of like using Tiny Task, but you can actually just download other people's profiles, like other people's macros, right? But it's a paid service that you have to buy on the side. Kind of annoying to set up. So a lot of people aren't going to do that. Most people aren't going to do that. I'll wager to say, I don't know the numbers, but 10,000 players maybe have Informal out of the hundreds of thousands that have played this game. So most people aren't going to do that. So I can Informal in AFK farm whatever this game has, because they never can combat Informal, really, only Tiny Task. Informal is impossible to combat at this point. So they're excluding people that are just, you know, using normie macros like Tiny Task. But not people like me, they're like, well, whatever, I'll just use Informal. This is the first time they're like, okay, we're not gonna exclude the general population from the AFK. Speaking of the events tab, something that I was complaining about a lot in the other video that I saw a lot of people were really happy I mentioned was the Phoenix Shards. And right now, it seems like this event tab will be like a band-aid fix for the issue, which is good. It's not gonna fully fix the issue, but it's gonna be a band-aid fix. Phoenix Shards are how you roll familiars, and familiars are insanely OP. Just for perspective, the best familiar in the game is Burb. It's not even a conversation. This familiar is obscenely OP. I've gotten so many, I've rolled so many, and I don't even have like a great one. This is my best one. I want to have a great one because I corrupted for him. You can see right here. Corruption's its own thing. It's just so stupid you can only corrupt once, but whatever. I've been trying, man, to roll on these Burbs. It's so hard to roll on them because they have 4 stats and they can go negative. Like this one's good still. Damage 15 lowers critical damage, which is not ideal. Raise range, raise crit chance, but then it corrupted 4. And it ruins the thing because you can't roll anymore either. And again, just to put in perspective, if I go on the tier list for Anime Vanguards, every character recommends Burb, except very few characters that have like meters that are very important, like Sid. Every character needs Burb. Like every single character basically in the game. Even characters with meter want Burb. Dante, it says right here, Burb. What? I didn't even know that. So it's a thing you basically need. You need many of them as well. Like, you're gonna have a full team of characters with this. But getting a good one is so hard. Familiars are so hard to get good ones. Getting the familiars is fine. Getting a good familiar, impossible. So you need to roll their stats, right? And getting the Phoenix shards is really hard, but the events tab is kind of fixing that. Like I said, you know, you can do these missions, you can either buy the currency, or you can buy Phoenix shards, or you can buy trade rerolls. If you're at a point in the game where you're early enough that you don't need to focus on familiars, then you can buy trade rerolls as well. So yeah, this quest tab is just fantastic. Or events tab. Also, the daily reward tab got revamped. There's more rewards. Just like daily login is just so much better. 25 rerolls at day 7. Also, on top of the ease of getting Ascanor, like it's way easier to get him than Kaguya and Gogeta and Diavolo, Pity has finally been introduced. I know it got announced before this update, but it came with this update. Finally. And if you were one of the few people that were like 3 million flowers, that's it, you are rich. Just because you have your informal set up with steroids, all right? Like I just said, most people aren't able to do that. Getting Kaguya was an impossible achievement for most people, unless they just got super lucky. I am well over 5 million flowers and I don't have Kaguya because I did most of them before the Pity. I have 200k right now. I'm like 1 mil away from my from hitting Pity right now. So I'm just gonna wait to get 1 mil. There's no reason not to have Pity. Like I said, sometimes I feel like the devs act as if the game has trading when there isn't. There's no point in gatekeeping Vanguards from people when there's no player economy. And if they're not going to add trading, I don't think they will at this point. I don't see the point of exclusive characters at all being like never coming back. Because a lot of exclusive characters are, you know, let's say you just are enemy Vanguards and you want Toji, because Toji is your favorite character. You're gonna have to buy an account or something. Like, I don't know, like you can't even trade for him. You want to have Toji because you just really like Toji. Sucks for, I mean, he's not a great character, but you know what I mean. But you just really like Toji, right? Sucks for you. I can equip my Toji cosmetic. I didn't equip, I guess. But you can have him. So seeing them add Pity was fantastic. There's no reason to gatekeep stuff to protect a player economy if there's no player economy. We're not playing anime defenders. Also, by the way, on the events, is it this one? You can buy a shiny from the update. Again, there's no reason to gatekeep shinies if there's no player economy. Shinies, when it comes to trading, you know, they're very special. So it makes sense to make them hard to get. But there's no trading. There is no trading. There's no reason to gatekeep these characters. And I'm screaming this, but it's already been fixed. So I'm just saying out loud the thing that they've already, you know, fixed with this update. One of the bullet points I have here is Escanor is actually cool. I think that's a valid point. Looking at the previous updates that we've got, Sid's cool, but I think that they've messed up by making it John Smith. I'm sorry, John Smith, cool. I mean, it should have been just Sid. That's whatever, right? 6.5 is the mishmash of random garbage. Update 6.5 was glazed for like a couple of days because of Invincible, and that was it. Vanguard Kaguya, I mean, no one cares about Kaguya, no one likes Kaguya. So we're only using her because she's OP. 7.0, I think Attack on Titan is a great series that got kind of ruined by the ending for a lot of people. So you look at Eren and you're like, oh, Eren, this Eren's cool. But then you remember, is Eren cool? I think it also ruined for a lot of people. So the character selection for even Attack on Titan, I feel like also making Eren, I mean, Attack on Titan update just had so many annoying characters to use. Like every character can't be replaced, stuff like that. But Escanor is OP. Everyone loves Escanor. If you say you don't love Escanor, you are lying. He's the best character from 7 Deadly Sins. And I would know, I played 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross for a living. Maybe I'll show you. This is the infamous 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross channel. And other than the slime collab that happened 3 years ago, being my most popular stream ever, my most popular summons of all time, the one Escanor. This is a 7 Deadly Sins game, bro. The one Escanor is most popular, and then Assault Meliodas, which is the protagonist, and then Escanor again, and then Meliodas, and then Escanor versus Meliodas when the story chapter came out. Then if I go videos, there was just like a little cool concept I did. But Escanor versus Tarosa, story chapter. Most popular video, second most popular, but honestly the most popular video. And then Escanor the thumbnail, Escanor the thumbnail, Escanor animation. Escanor is baller. He made me so much money. And he's gonna make you so much money again. The rest of the character picks are fine too. I mean, I think the woman from Black Clover is cool. Jin Mori, I think, is also really cool. It's crazy because, like, God of High School, like, no one cares about God of High School, but they like Jin Mori. It's a shame. God of High School and Tower of God got just giga ripped by Crunchyroll on their animes when they had so much potential. Whatever. Rest of the characters, whatever, just random exclusives. I feel like they always do like a mishmash of random garbage on the exclusives. But I mean, Hiei is cool. I don't know if this guy is like a discount Meliodas. Weather Report, I mean, it's whatever. I love JoJo, but Weather Report, I mean, he's cool. It doesn't, maybe because Part 6 is like one of the worst, but he's cool. I don't even know who this is. Part 6 is one of the worst, by the way. But being one of the worst JoJo parts still is like being top 0.1% best manga. Another point I have written down why this update is so successful. And I want to be very objective with this. It's just the truth. The last updates for the biggest competitors for Anime Vanguards have been terrible. The recent All-Star Tower Defense X update, which is probably the biggest competitor, it was the biggest tower defense, you know, the time I recorded the other video as well. The update is horrible. In the other video I did, the What Happened to Anime Vanguards, I mentioned how, I mean, this game's super hard. Anime Vanguard is super hard. You need Monarch and whatever. But in All-Star Tower Defense X, it's not the case because there's no content that requires you to be like so strong. And then what happens? And All-Star Tower Defense X drops back-to-back updates where you need to be a god, and now the game is at like 20k players. Like, when have I ever been wrong, honestly? They drop their shtick of being a casual game to being super hard, and they lose their player base. It's literally what I said. People can take a challenge here and there, right? People can take a challenge. It's not like difficult activities can't exist. But the thing about these tower defense games is that, let's take for example the All-Star update. Not only the raid that they released is insanely hard, the drop chance for the character is 1%. So you're telling me I need to beat this insanely hard activity in an average of 100 times? No. The best example I can make, I have it open right now, actually. Dokkan Battle. In Dokkan Battle, just like in, I mean, Dokkan Battle is a mobile gacha game. These Roblox games, these tower defense games are essentially gacha games. They are basically the same thing. You have events that you need to do a bunch of times. Let's say this new Gohan Awakening event, right? You have to do a bunch of times to evolve Gohan, the new character they just released, right? So you do it a bunch of times, but it's super easy because it's to evolve a character. But then you have the challenge tab with a super hard event that you need to do one time. Maybe there's missions, they all do the stage with X category of characters, right? Like right here, beat the stage. Is this readable? With at least 4 bond, it's not readable. Bond of friendship characters, right? There's like category missions, but you only need to do the stage one time. Not 1, 2, 3 times. Not 100. So the ASCDX update was a big fumble. They did a Vanguards, honestly. Like they just dropped an update that had super hard activities they need to do a bunch of times. And I don't want to talk about ASCDX too much, but they've realized their mistake and it's probably not going to happen again, honestly. Just like I feel like Anime Vanguards, hopefully this time have realized their mistake. Making super hard activities, they're the only thing you can do in an update that have an insanely low drop chance for whatever you're doing isn't it. It just isn't. People talk about anime adventures as if it was the devil, but the activities were beatable if you had good things and weren't super hard. They were hard, honestly, but they weren't super hard. Not like Anime Vanguards where even if you have the greatest of Vanguard characters, you're still like, woo. People look back on Anime Adventures with the most grotesque eyes, man. I mean, the game wasn't great in comparison to what we have now, but it wasn't that bad. Like, it was pay to win, just like AV is. But you could, like, matchmake with people and do the stages without much hassle after it came back. There's still no matchmaking in this game. By the way, that's ASCDX. Right, we're not talking about AV right now, we're talking about ACDX. There's still no matchmaking on the ACDX that works properly. So ACDX fumbled really hard. That is a big advantage for Vanguards. And ALS, honestly, the past few updates have been really bad. The past update of ALS, the one that I really just make a video on, is terrible. So looking good for Anime Vanguards. They dropped their best update in ages, and their biggest competitors dropped terrible updates. What great timing. Last point I have here is Monarch Pity. So Monarch Pity isn't of this update necessarily, but it came out after my video. They lowered the Monarch Pity to 1500. I think that's great. From 2500 to 1500. Slowly but surely, it doesn't have to be immediately. They themselves and by they I mean Paisa, said the trade system is bad and was made by the old devs and whatever. You can keep blaming other people as much as you want. You have the power to fix what is currently happening. And it can be slow. It can be in steps. Figure it out, right? But instead of pointing fingers, it was their fault. That's why it sucks. Lowering the pity, adding more rerolls. Like I said, the events tab, fantastic. Has rerolls there if you don't want the Phoenix rerolls. I would say, the game itself has a lot of rerolls spread out, but like it's in a lot of inconvenient places, right? You have the bounties. Do people do these? Like, it's gonna be, well, I do all the stuff. Well, you don't have a job probably, or if you do, this is the only game you play. The events has like 200, pretty good. It's part of the update. I'll count this as part of the update. There's boss event, which is probably one of the easiest to get weekly because you only have to do it like 5 times. It's you get 40, they all cost 4. You get like an average of, let's be generous and say 22. You need to do like 8 runs. Not that bad, but still it's like super spread out. You know what I mean? You should do tons of like different stuff. You might just forget. But I like the events tab because it's more direct. So gradually fixing the issue instead of pointing fingers is working. This is a step. Also, one of the big issues I mentioned is how expensive rerolls are. It costs AA prices, which no other game has. 8,000 Robux for 100 rerolls. Right? But they dropped some of the most insane bundles ever with this update, which you might say, wow, that's for pay-to-win players. There's a lot of pay-to-win players like me that look at me at Vanguards like, Jesus, this game is so expensive. So, this might not be something that applies to most players, but it applies to people like me. Either, make bigger bundles for the rerolls or keep doing these bundles. Like 500 rerolls, 400 rerolls, this is worth it. Those are a lot of the positives. Maybe I forgot something, but this update is shaping up to be great. Oh, one thing I didn't mention, maybe I did. No bugs on release. Maybe there were a few, like some character doing something weird, but no major bugs. I think one of the updates that had the most hype ever was Jinwoo Vanguard, just because it was Jinwoo, the update itself wasn't anything crazy, but it was Jinwoo, right? And solo leveling is the biggest anime ever. Maybe, I don't know. Nah, nothing beats Dragon Ball, but of our time. But that update, this one, 4.5, released with major bugs. One of them being that you just did like one little quest and it just gave you Jinwoo Vanguard in like 5 minutes. So many people just got Jinwoo like right away, and it ruined the grind for all people. Like, oh my god, everyone's getting Jinwoo for free and I'm not getting him. I actually have to grind. It ruins the update for a lot of people, including for me, because I didn't get it for free. I had to actually grind it, and then the bastard other YouTubers, shall not be named, Sebastian, got their video out immediately because he got the bug. I'm still upset. Nah, but for real, like, it does ruin for a lot of people. And every update has had major bugs. So update 6.0. Can we just remove update 6.0 from this tab? Like, no one wants to see this, man. Update 7, although it was a bad update, no major bugs, finally. Update 7.5, no major bugs. I would say the most glazed update of all time is the winter update. And that update on release, bro, people look back to the update with the most rose-tainted glasses. That update on release was awful. It was super buggy, it had so many problems, and then gradually they fixed it, right? It took like forever. Like, the reason why people went back months after and said, wow, the winter update is so nice, was because it took months for them to make it nice. Whatever. Also talking about, prices. I meant to do this, but I forgot. This game makes more money than your entire family lineage combined in just 1 month. So I think criticism is more than justified. And when you're charging so much for these things, even more justified. So this is not a charity. These guys aren't doing this because they love entertaining people. They are making money. Okay? Get that in your heads. They're not here because they love entertaining children. I'm not here because I also love money. We all do. They're making gazillions of Robux. So whenever I talk about any pay-to-win adjacent things like needing monarchs, keep that in mind, right? So just them making so I have to spend less money in the game, I think is a great thing. Not just me. I say me, but like, everyone that plays the game. All right, negatives of this update. I only have 1 point, actually. Only one. That's how good this update is. Another limited Vanguard. Now, I talked about Vanguard characters in my other video. Right now, we have 5 Vanguards in the game, 4 of which are limited. You cannot get Diablo anymore. I don't have them. You cannot get a Diablo anymore. You cannot get Gogeta anymore. And very soon, you will not be able to get Kage anymore either. Jinwoo is permanent, which is great. Another limited Vanguard, I think sucks. Especially because it looks like they're just doing one for each element. Like, you know, and how many elements are there? 47. So they're gonna complete the elements, and then what? They're just not gonna come back. There's not been any confirmation, as far as I can tell, of them ever coming back. I think Diavolo should make a comeback. There's no reason for there ever to be exclusive characters in general, to be honest, other than FOMO, I guess. But like, there's no trading. This game is meant to be anime adventures, if you don't know. This game is meant to be anime adventures. Don't lie to yourself that it's not. And it made sense for anime adventures to have exclusive, limited time characters, because there was trading, which caused a player economy. This game does not have a player economy, does not have trading. If you start the game right now, as a new player, you're gonna be looking at all these cool characters that you cannot physically get anymore. So I think returning, not just because I don't have Diavolo, I mean, I don't really care about the character. I like Diavolo as a character, but he's not that great of a unit. Like, if I got him, I would just have him in my box, really. I just wouldn't even use him. But Gogeta, man, he's not the greatest anymore, but it definitely sucks not having him. If I didn't have him, I have him shiny. But if I didn't have him, I would feel bad. Like, dude, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, he's so cool. If they don't want to bring back Vanguards, it's on them. I think making like basically every Vanguard limited is dumb. You look at their biggest competitor, Enemy Last Stand, or ASCDX, but Enemy Last Stand is their second biggest competitor. You can get all the godlies because they're OP. Like, you should be able to just get them. I don't see why they have to make another limited Vanguard. Oh well, they do what they want. My recommendation, personally, and I know you're watching Paisa, just singling out Paisive for no reason. And they're watching Paisive. I'll bring them back. It doesn't have to be a big thing. Like, think of an update that isn't gonna be very hype. Like, think of another update 6. Dear Lord, please don't. But think of another update 6 that like, okay, this update is not gonna be hype, guys. I know. Bring back Diablo. I don't know how. Make it a quest. Honestly, make it a quest. People like quests. Make it a quest, so you have the new update, and you have the quest on the side that could be limited. Like, the quest could be limited, so you still have FOMO, right? You still have FOMO if you want, which is fear of missing out if you don't know. It's just, it adds something for you for free. I'm giving you a free way of adding content to a random update you're gonna drop, right? And then for Gogeta, I mean, it's simple, bring him back during winter. Next winter update, which is not that long from now. We're already in August. Next winter update, bring back Gogeta as a quest. Boom. Maybe even buff him. Maybe not. Gogeta is still pretty decent. He's not amazing, but he's decent. That would be my one negative of this update. Another limited Vanguard doesn't sit right with me. Also, just to wrap up the video, some unaddressed issues from previous videos. Familiars weren't directly addressed. The band-aid fix is good, but familiars themselves weren't directly addressed. They just added another one. I think familiars being so RNG based is so annoying. I don't expect them to address everything I said so quickly, so I mean, it's whatever. And again, the band-aid fix of just giving us more Phoenix shards through the event helps, but I would like an actual direct addressing of the familiars, because most people hate familiars. Like, that was honestly the biggest thing I saw from my comments, was almost people agreed with the familiar thing. Vanguards are still towering over the game. They're stronger than everything else and makes it so you don't have to run anything else. That's still the case. I mean, it's going to be impossible for them to just fix that in one update. So again, I don't think that that's the biggest deal, that it wasn't fixed like immediately. But we get another arguably best character in the game, Escanor, arguably. While I feel like all the other characters don't need to be rolled on at all, like don't need to be worked on at all, really, on the update. I think this one's tough. This one's tough for them to fix, to be honest. So the biggest thing, which is another issue that was not addressed directly, is elements being useless, or more of a hindrance than actually useful for the players. And I think that's the biggest reason why Vanguards are so OP. Vanguards are so OP because you don't need to worry about elements whatsoever. Like, what is this stage? What element is this stage? Who cares? I'll bring Jinwoo. Who cares? I'll bring Escanor, right? Or Kage, whatever. The new portals sort of buffed element, debuffed element, but here's the issue. It's so random. You can have, I think they applied to all the portals, whatever. Like, you can have whatever on these, like, buffed element, debuffed element. So you're not just gonna change your team every single time you enter the stage. Like, okay, this portal has this element buffed and this element debuffed. And then the next portal has this element buffed and this element debuffed. So I'm gonna completely change my team every single time I do a portal. That's not gonna happen. So I know you're gonna hate to hear this, Paisef. I'm just gonna Paisef is the representative of the AV devs. Make it per update. So like this update, this element is buffed on portals, this element is debuffed on portals. So I only have to make one team based on that element. Like if you make it so every single portal has a different buff and debuff, then I have to change my... If I want to actually follow your suggestion of element, I have to change my team every single time. And let me remind you, you need to do 1,000 portals. Or currency, right? But it's only 25 for the quest. You need to do 25 portals. More if you want to chase shiny on the character, if you're a psychopath. So definitely elements, although somewhat addressed here. Like they changed how elements work. Instead of having like element on the enemies so that it does like the garbage reactions, he actually has buffed and debuffed. So attempt, like there was an attempt. Huge. But this is just like what Anime Reborn did with elements, and I thought, dude, I think most the people that I talk to aren't even on the Reborn team anymore, so I can say it. I told them, this is stupid, guys. What are you doing? You are, I don't want to say the word again, so Trucker has to bleep it, but you are mentally not very smart. You need to change the element every single time you go in the portal? And you're telling me to do 100 portals? Anyways, to double wrap up the video, this update is the best they've done in eons. And if you disagree, whatever, I don't care. If you disagree, then you're just ignoring facts that they were in the gutter and now they are at the top. So one more of these, and AV will get the 100K back. They haven't had 100K players in a long time, probably since Jinwoo, right? I don't think they reached it for Dragon Ball. And Jinwoo was ages ago, 4 months ago. And the Reborn was still alive back then. All right, bye Paisef.